Mike Fisher reporting from the Star in Frisco on a beautiful day and a Monday where the Dallas Cowboys begin the offseason program. This is phase one as designed by the NFL and agreed to by the NFLPA, except COVID has thrown a monkey wrench into the NFLPA's thinking on how this should operate, but not in a way that has caused Cowboy players to change direction. Mike Fisher, with Cowboys inside the building right behind me. These are not football practices yet. This is strength and conditioning stuff. You get supervision with the strength coach and the conditioning coaches. You also get to work with the medical personnel, the trainers, and then anything you do with coaches, meetings, whatever, that's virtual. And that stuff's very limited. This is really just a ramp-up part of things, but about half the teams in the NFL, a little more than half now, have agreed with the NFLPA leadership. Let's boycott these. Maybe boycott sounds like a strong word, like an almost militant word, when in fact these are voluntary workouts. But when you attend, participate in a high percentage of these workouts, in many players' contracts, Cowboys included, you get built-in bonus money. If you don't participate, you forfeit that money. Now, I'm not suggesting that the reason the Cowboys are one of the teams to say, no, NFLPA, with all due respect, we're going to vote our way, and we're not going to go the way that, 17, 18 teams have gone. By the way, obviously, that means there's other teams that are in the same boat as the Cowboys. I'm not saying it's all financially driven. It's not. But it's a factor. It's in there somewhere. In the case of the Cowboys, they probably, and they've had this for most of the 30 years that I've been here, because so many players live in Dallas in the off season, something maybe you don't have in Green Bay or Buffalo. And so it's easier to have great off-season attendance if you're the Cowboys and some other franchises than otherwise. So the Cowboys have had great off-season attendance this particular off-season. That great attendance continues now. Is that about Cowboys, a special devotion to the cause? Maybe. Is it about the fact that guys live here in the off-season? Probably. Is there a bond that's been created because of things like Dak Prescott's backyard football field? Absolutely, that's a factor. Dak Prescott's leadership is a factor as well. You do gain bonding the more time you spend together. And remember, last year, there was such a separation, even between players and players' groups, even in terms of how far away you could sit from each other. Now, the Cowboys do tell me that while the OTA stuff, phase one, is indeed going on inside the building. One player told me business as usual. That doesn't mean that they're defying the COVID guidelines. Doesn't mean they're defying the NFLPA. Doesn't mean they're defying the CDC or anything that the government would have them do. In fact, business as usual means that we're going to the weight room and we're working out and we're doing all the things that the building asks us to do in terms of monitoring COVID-related stuff. And again, when even the media goes into this building, the few of us that are allowed in, it's the same kind of process. You got to fill out paperwork, you got to have your temperature taken, and you wear a mask at all times. That kind of thing, again, is part and parcel now with football, at least in this offseason. Again, virtual meetings are also a part of things as well. But for the Cowboys, it's about showing up in person. And yes, finance is a part of it. There are 8 Cowboys who, built into their contracts, have $500,000 riding on off-season participation. Let's see if I can rattle these off the top of my head. That would be Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, there's 3, Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, there's 6, Tank Lawrence, Jalen Smith, there's the 8. So there's other guys with, $250,000 or $50,000, whatever, money's money. But to those 8 guys in particular, I'm not very good at math, but that adds up, I believe, to $4 million riding on those 8 guys who just happen to also be veterans, team leaders, and key players those 8 guys showing up, participating at a high level, and almost surely the bulk of all these guys we're talking about here today. Not in defiance of what the NFLPA does, but voluntary means you don't have to show up. Voluntary also means that you can. The NFLPA boss the other day said for many of these guys and for many of these coaches, this is the first time that the players have ever exercised their right to say no, which they should be applauded on if that's and not frowned upon. There should be no pressure from coaches, from organizations to get those players to do something that they don't have to do, especially, again, with the combination of voluntary and the combination of the NFLPA's own guidelines. But those same players with those same options of saying no, in the case of the Dallas Cowboys, the group is taking its same choice, only it's saying yes. Fish reporting from the Star in Frisco. Out.